Hey guys, welcome back to Parkitect. Today's video, I'm starting a very big project. For the first time ever, I'm going to try to build a full-fledged theme park. So, the theme park's name is not that inventive, but I'm going to play with the name. Well, I'm not going to play with the name, I'm going to use the name to my advantage. So, I've always wanted to name a theme park after myself, so Astro-Land. But with that name, I decided to go with a space theme park. So the whole theme park is going to be based off of 4 different space themed areas. So the main street would be a sci-fi city of some sort. I'm going to call it Capital City. And then I'm going to have some type of Mars terrain. We're going to call that Xeon Empire. And I'm going to have an ocean planet and an ice planet also. I don't have names for those planets just yet. I'm still working on names internally, but the idea is to play off the Astro word, because Astro means, I think, space or astronaut or something. So that's the main idea of this project. I mostly was inspired because of Studio KV, because he made his own theme park called KV-Land. I was looking at that recently again, and I like how he built the park and some of the areas he designed. So I'm going to try to take it a step further on sticking with one theme in a way, but then doing sub-themes within that theme, if you get my drift. So this video is basically going to show you the foundations of what I'm working on. Like here I'm working on the front entrance. It's a very simple iron covered entrance or canvas, and then has the name Astro-Land on it, separated by the little, I don't know, planet symbol that I made a long time ago for another map, but I thought it fit well here in this map. This project is going to be interesting because I've never done a full-fledged theme park. I've only done like I've done the campaign maps. I filled those out before, but building a park from scratch and building it from there is going to be a little interesting. So I'm going to pull a lot of inspiration from like Disneyland, because Disneyland had its hub system, and it's called the spoken wheel. So you have your center, and then it spokes out to several different lands. I'm kind of changing that a little bit here. So the first section I need to get down basically is my main street. So it's going to be my capital city type of design. So over here on this side is going to be one of my radar towers that's part of the city. Kind of just going with my gut, not really planning yet. I did do some planning off screen for this map, figuring out where land should go and other things like that. Because when you look at an empty map, you get super overwhelmed of what could possibly get put in. And my mind's been racing on thinking of what could I build here and what can I build there. And you kind of have to slow yourself down before you get to, well, you don't want to overwhelm yourself, and that's how you lose a big project. And that's what's been happening with me doing big projects like this. That's why I've been doing little things like custom scenario maps. Those are a little bit easier projects because I'm not filling up the entire map. I'm making play areas for you to play in and some key sceneries to play around. That's kind of the idea of scenarios. But with a theme park, I have to think of rides, I have to think of the scenery I want to put in, I have to think about which way the pathways are going to go, because you make a giant plaza, guests get lost. You make too small of a path, it becomes a bottleneck, and things like that. So it's a difficult challenge. I'm willing to try again. So I've tried 5 times making a theme park. It hasn't worked out well. I barely get to the entrance and then I stop. It's really hard to move forward. But this project is a little different because I feel like I want to do more sci-fi stuff, and sci-fi stuff kind of is not rooted in reality. But this theme park is. So it's like the theme park was designed to be space themed in general, but with sublands. So as you can see, I'm just rambling about the project. I've already built the tower with a simple Satellite dish, and then some railings, and a looks like an elevated walkway that will be connected to another building. Little key details were like pipes at different colors, so they could be like cooling pipes or waste pipes or something like that. Also, with this space theme, I can make up my own like terrain in a way, like make alien themed terrain, and that's the idea, to kind of build off of the story. Nothing like, you'll see as it grows. Some things already have changed already in this map. I'm going to change some stuff, and it's okay to, when you're building a project that's big, to change things out or step back and look at it from a different angle and change either a building design or a ride of some sort. I've already done that a couple times with this map. I've worked on it now. With the point of recording this video, I've done at least 6 hours of build so far. I know this build's going to be one of the long ones, but I want to stick it out because I think this is going to be a cool theme to go for. Also, I want to focus on trying to make realistic backstage areas in a way. I want to also showcase how you can use a little bit of the backstage paths and depots, and I got a lot of inspiration from Coaster B because his stuff is pretty cool with the realistic stuff, and so I was like, okay, I can try maybe doing that with this build because I want to try to make it look realistic, but then I want to go with my super fantasy stuff, and so space seems to be that, sci-fi seems to be that theme, the go-to theme for me. Right here I'm building a very quick restroom building. It'll be a very simple like an office building, some type of space building. That's basically what it is, a space building. Nothing like crazy, but something, it's rooted in reality. It's just a building. But I don't think I'm changing that. I like this style of building. I'm going to maybe copy this over and over again, or copy it in a couple of key places for the main street, which I'm calling it Capital City. And then the main focus of the whole park is going to be like this space castle that's going to be like the front of the Xeon Empire. I haven't built it yet. That'll probably be in the next episode. Each land will have some type of e-ticket attraction, so that's the idea, is to build a coaster or a dark ride of some sort, and then you have your supporting attractions. So that'll be your flat ride, so a calm or a thrill ride, and then you have a collection of restaurants included. So the idea, that's how each land I think should go. We'll see if I hold up with that plan, because already building the main street I forgot to put in rides, and I was just building scenery, and I wasn't thinking, oh, I should put rides in because it needs to have rides. It's the point of a theme park. So I'm having a little bit of issue with spacing. So you might see some buildings disappear, you might see some buildings appear. Later on, I'm gonna be sporadic because there's no set schedule when building a project this big. It's not like a real theme park when you have a set schedule and you build in rides and stuff like that. But I'll get there. I don't know. This build's gonna be interesting. So jumping a little bit forward, I decided to do a monorail that goes around my park, so very Disney-like, big transportation. But a little different by making the monorail go down the main street, down your boulevard, so it's going down the middle of Capital City. And I always felt like the monorail sci-fi skin didn't get enough use in some builds I've seen online, so I decided to use that as my main sci-fi thing. I like the way it looks, and it's very sci-fi, so might as well work for Capital City. So this is the Astro-Land transit. It'll just connect to 4 stations around the park, and I've been having the train run in circles like this just to let it run in my park, to give myself some motivation just watching it running around. I'm going to do some custom pillar work for it. Only some parts, not everywhere, because I'm going to change up the supports as it transports into different lands. Now the transitions between lands are going to be a little difficult. We'll see how that rolls, but right now I have some of the areas somewhat designated on the map, and I'm going to figure out where those go later, but I've done already a lot of work. And I should show you at the end of this video a little tour of what I've worked on so far. I'll explain what I'm working on and what's going to come up in the next episodes. I'm going to think that this might take up to maybe 7 parts. Maybe. If I go quicker, I might not. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't want to think too much in the future because it gets yourself overwhelmed. So here, just figuring out some different pillar types for the monorail, kind of make it look space-like. I was thinking of the People Mover track that's in Tomorrowland because it kind of represents that in a way. It has the little overhang to protect things from falling off from the monorail, and I felt like that was a cool thing to do. I could do it all through the entire park, but I'm going to skip some areas because some of it won't go over people, so you won't need it. I think they're called, I don't know what they're called. Not girders. Regardless, I don't know what they're called, but they're called something. What else am I doing? I'm not sure if I'm going to use any mods. I haven't used any mods yet. I'm kind of like half and half on mods. I like them. I use Construction Anarchy, but scenery mods, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to. I don't know if I'm going to do custom supports for any of the coasters that I'm going to build, because the coasters that I'm going to build are going to be more like Disney-esque, so they'll be like heavily themed in a building or outside with like a whole bunch of mountain ranges, because I want to do a mountain range of some sort, so maybe like an ice mountain range or a Mars mountain range or something. The reference material that I'm using for sci-fi stuff is kind of a mix, and the mix is Apex Legends and Star Wars and a little bit of Jules Verne, like 20,000 Leagues. So that's the references I'm using right now, kind of a mix. This train station I should have been talking about had some difficulty getting a shape out of it, so I decided to build the tower first and then build the walls around it and then an iron roof. So it's kind of my transit center for the monorail. Very basic, nothing too crazy, but I think it works out. I don't want to go overboard. Yeah, each station that's going to be in different lands will match that scenery too. So kind of experimenting with pieces. That's the idea of this whole project, is because it's not in reality, all of it's going to be made up. So I'm going to just mess with pieces, mess with coloring. That's why the entrance is purple. I mean, that's the theme of this. That's the Astro-Land's colors are going to be purple and yellow. So I'm going to use that most in the park maybe, or use it somewhere else, something like that. Just building a simple Art Deco tower. It's very Art Deco. I don't know, just something. What else is going to be in the land? I know that I want to build at least 7 coasters in the park in total. I want to use some unused rides that I normally don't see get used, so kind of fits with the theme of space. It's kind of unusual things and stuff like that. What else? I can tell you a little bit what the other lands might be. The water area, the water planet's gonna be more water, so it's gonna be like Subnautica themed in a way, maybe something close. Not exactly Subnautica, but the idea of alien creatures and stuff like that. And the ice planet is gonna be like my mining facility on an ice planet, like not necessarily like Hoth from Star Wars, but like just an ice planet. And then my alien empire, or the Xeon Empire, will be like Mars based with like a alien civilization, so the buildings will be even more wacky versus what this city will be. So as we skip ahead, I did a lot of work off screen, kind of messing with parts. So I wanted to do a almost recreation of the Astro Orbiter at Disneyland's Tomorrowland. and I took the orbiter ride, and I decided to go do like a planet type theming on top of it. So it was just kind of like, it's weird, but it's gonna be in front of the park. So like the first land is very bunchel with scenery, and then it goes into the themed designated areas that are separated by, well, transition points of terrain or something like that. So just very basic shapes, then pillars going out, and then I experimented with where planets should go and sit. I think this worked out really well. I liked that I did the decoration this way on this build. I'm going to do that more often with flat rides, especially for this type of project. The blue building that's next to it's going to go. I built it. I looked at it. I woke up this morning and I was like, nope, I don't love it anymore. I need to make it more like an office building or something to match my capital city theme. Because the buildings were kind of getting all inconsistent with theming. And that sometimes you get away from it when you're building something this large. So when it comes to like a land, you want to build buildings that are close together in theming. So they'll maybe match shape, or they'll match a window type, or they match like a roof type. And you want to keep with that type of style, but you want to make each building a little different so that they don't look the plain thing like it was a copy and paste thing. So I'm going to redesign that building, and I did some wasted space in that building, and I need to put in maybe a restaurant or so to balance out my main street, because I feel like when you go to Disneyland or a theme park in general, you have your restaurants in the front and gift shops and stuff like that. And that's kind of the hard part about making a theme park. You have to think of all the utility stuff in it. This is going to be crazy how I'm going to do this, but I have some hope in this project because I've already done a lot, and I'm not going to throw this in right now because I'm having fun building a sci-fi themed theme park. So here's a little cool little thing I did with this sun. I did gears on it to make it look like it was moving, some dynamic action here, and then some more gears to give it some more like moving mechanical look. So it was like some type of observatory. I don't know. Just kind of looks cool. Kind of matches the ride. It kind of matches the area because it's wonky. It's in the middle of a, I don't know, capital city space land or something. So I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to change some buildings on the side of it to change up what it should look like. The street across the way hasn't been put in yet. I haven't thought what to do there yet, but I do want to build maybe a coaster entrance there and build a coaster that goes in the back or something. The good thing about Parkitect and its backstage features is that you don't have to make the backstage features so big. I'm going to make them somewhat realistic, but I don't have to make them super big because the break rooms are very small. But I've already built 2 break rooms in this park to kind of balance out. So I'm going to wrap up here, and I want to give you a quick tour of what I've worked on and tell you what's coming up next. So I'll see you in the live playthrough. Okay, here's the front of Astro-Land. So this is what so far it looks like after some fiddling around and some finishing up. I added a fake mountain range in the back of my station, and then I did some of the main street off screen. Here's our wonderful Astro Orbiter, and then this building's gonna go because I don't like it. It doesn't match the rest of the city feel, so I'm gonna change this one out to match these buildings, and then I added this building back here right next to Astro Orbiter and added 2 motion simulators inside. As you can see, the monorail turns, goes around. I already planned out where most of the lands will go. This is the start of my alien planet, Xeon Empire, and then over here is going to probably be expanding into more of the capital city, and then maybe a roller coaster in the back here. I could expand into the forest if I wanted to change up the border, or remove the border out completely. But this is the quick idea of how it's going to go. On this side is going to be my ice planet, and right now these blocks are my splotches of colors that I'm going to play with and change. But I think the project's going to start looking pretty cool in a little bit, so I'm going to show you what I've worked on so far. The next video probably is going to be on me working on the coaster for Capital City to kind of give it a, maybe it's going to be a hydraulic launch coaster, haven't decided yet. But yeah, hope you guys like the project that I'm working on. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.